Hello everyone, this is Steve with our Sustainable Journey, and today we have a fun surprise. So I just came back from a facility in Batavia that processes hemp. And so they are, the name is Keyleaf. They're a great organization. They process this stuff into the various oils and compounds and things like that. And then they have this leftover, it's called hemp biomass. So basically what it is it's the leftover stuff after they've squeezed all the juices out of the plants, is my understanding. And so we have, I think this is about 1,600 pounds between these two that we just got back. So I will show you. Pop it open. Okay, so inside these giant bags, they're called super sacks, are much smaller bags. It looks kind of like this. So it kind of looks like bags of dirt, right? I'll pull it out, I'll put it in a different container, and I'll show you what it looks like and how we get it. So this is basically how we get it from them, is bags. These weigh, that one's 31 kilos. I think it's about 60 pounds. So it'll be a whole bag of bags. And then we take it, we put it into smaller containers so that we can feed it to our worms. So I will show you one of those in just a second. So I want to show you what it looks like once it's out of the bag. So this is about a 15-gallon tote. These hold probably about 200 pounds. So this is a couple bags, but it basically just looks like dirt, kind of. So essentially, but it's a food source. It's basically a green, because it is good stuff. So, and it was a living plant not too long ago. So that's why I consider it a green. So then what we'll do is I'm going to scoop this into something a little bit smaller, so I'm not carrying a few hundred pounds. And then we'll probably split this between the two bins that are in here, and then we've got other bins elsewhere that we'll put the rest of it in. I'm not going to show you all of that because that'd be really boring. But yeah, we'll be able to go through a few hundred pounds today feeding the worms, and then over the next couple of days we'll finish off feeding them the rest of it. So this is what it is. This is spent hemp biomass. Kind of cool. So then we're going to feed it to these guys. This is just one of our worm bins. So these guys will probably get maybe 100 pounds today in this bin. And we have a few others that we feed it to. Because so these are red wiggler worms. What they do is they munch through it and they make this stuff, which is basically like compost. This is their castings or worm poop. And what we then do is we take the worms out, and we put this in a garden. This is full of living microbes that then provide nutrients to plants and starts the whole process over again. So what we can actually do with this is we could give it back to Keyleaf. Keyleaf can then take it, put it on their plants, and grow the hemp all over again. So basically the worm is just a middleman. Take the spent hemp, munch on it, and then turn it back into fertilizer that can then go back into hemp plants. So it's kind of a cool little process where we can basically recycle hemp and spent hemp that nobody can use for anything. Otherwise it would go in a landfill, but Keyleaf doesn't want to do that. They want to be able to utilize this stuff, because it's, you know, what do we pick up today? 1,600 pounds, I think. And so that would all end up in a landfill going nowhere, whereas we can actually use it, turn it into usable compost, and put it back into circulation again. So it's kind of a cool little process. I don't know if you're gonna be able to see this. It's kind of dark. Maybe I'll get a light, but here's more worms, right? And this is another one of our bins. So what we feed these guys are food scraps. There's some cardboard. You can see a little bit of cardboard in the back or on the edges that they haven't gotten to yet. And that's what we've been doing to keep things out of landfills. So they get food scraps, they get hemp, they get some cardboard. We have a brewery that gives us their spent grains. All the stuff that would have ended up in a landfill is now being used to turn into compost, or vermicompost technically, that we then put back into gardens, or back into plants like what Key Leaf has, to, you know, start the cycle again, keep the carbon and the nitrogen and things like that being recycled and reused. And because there's a lot of benefits still in that stuff, and if it ends up in a landfill, it's not going to benefit anybody. It's just going to sit there and rot in a sealed vessel, because that's the way landfills are. They're completely sealed. So even though that stuff might break down, it's not going to benefit anyone. And so by doing it this way and partnering with Key Leaf, we're able to save that stuff, reuse it, and benefit the environment. So it's a cool process. I'll show you feeding of these guys. We'll just sprinkle it on top. We'll maybe bury it a little bit. And I'll show you that next. Okay, so scoop them into a smaller bucket so that we can show you this process. So really what we do, just set that there for now, is we're going to layer it on top, and then we can sew it into what they have to bury it a little bit. And it does kind of blend in, but there's a lot of worms in here. And so we're just going to mix them up a little bit, bury it a little bit. Some food scraps from a couple days ago. And there we go. And that's it. So then there's those green bags that people use for their food scraps. Those take a little bit longer to break down. And that's it. And so with the help of Key Leaf and us at Our Sustainable Journey, we are able to keep 1,600 pounds of hemp biomass out of a landfill. And I think we've probably picked up about 4,000 pounds or so, maybe 5,000 pounds from Key Leaf to get into these worm bins. And the worms love it. We love it because it's helping the environment. And we couldn't have done it without our partners at Key Leaf. So kind of cool. We'll keep watching these worms, watch how they dig through the hemp biomass, and the food scraps and the cardboard and anything else that we can feed them that we can keep out of landfills. So there you go. Kind of cool. Thanks for watching.